you're feeling sore, these are some good stretches you can do. So let's start with a little inhale. And exhale. Inhale up. And exhale, release. One more deep breath, inhale. And exhale. Good. Come on to your hands and knees, cat and cow. Inhale, lifting your hips up and your chest up. Exhale, release into cat. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back to a neutral spine, tucking our toes into the mat, coming into a nice soft down dog. You can keep your knees bent, shake out your head and neck, and just sort of rock a little from side to side. You can gently walk the dog, bringing those heels down to the mat, getting a nice little calf stretch, a little stretch into the hamstring. Keep that breath flowing. When you're ready, press both heels into the mat. And then go ahead and gently bend your knees, bringing your knees back down to the mat. Bring your toes flat and rounding up. You're gonna start by stepping that right foot forward into a nice lunge position. Toes are forward. My back foot is down on the mat, the top of my foot. You can open that chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pressing forward into that hip to open up that entire front hip. Couple deep breaths here. We'll do 3 slow inhales and exhales in each move. Go ahead and place your hands down on each side. Sit back into the hips and go ahead and flex that front foot, squaring off your hips. And the chest is pressing flat down into that thigh. The knee is as straight as possible. Fingertips on each side. Inhale. And exhale, lengthen. Just getting that blood flowing back behind the knee, into that hamstring. Lengthening from tailbone to the top of your head. Go ahead, pressing forward into those hips again, and open up the chest. 3 deep breaths here. Hands coming down. And toe rises up, squaring off those hips. 3 deep breaths here. Go ahead and engage the belly button. The belly button lifts out through the lower back, creating length in the spine. One more time, putting the toe down, coming into that lunge, but this time tuck the back toe and lift the back knee off the mat if you can. Three deep breaths here. This is 2. Go ahead, extend that front leg as much as you can. If it doesn't get straight, that's okay. But we're keeping both those legs parallel to the front of your mat. Stretching deep into that front hamstring. Again, lengthening the spine, pulling in the belly button. Keep that deep inhale and exhale. And slowly bending that front knee, lowering that back knee to the mat. Drop that back toe, and then bring both hands on the inside of the leg. And I want you to open up that knee, flexing that foot, and you can kind of rotate that hip open a little bit. Really gets nice deep stretch in the hip. You can keep both hands on the mat, or if you want, you can add a nice twist. if you're ready, you can reach the arm all the way to the back wall behind you, and you can even wrap it around to your other side. Getting a nice twist, you can take your focus up to the ceiling. You feel a stretch deep in the hip, in that shoulder, engaging the core. And bring that arm all the way to the back wall and up, back down to the mat. Bring that leg back to parallel. Tuck that back toe, extend that back leg, and go ahead and bring that back leg into down dog. And we'll pedal out the heels again here. You already might feel a little looser, a little warmed up. You can go deeper into those calves and hamstring. Remember to engage that core here, lengthening the spine, always lengthening the spine. One more deep inhale. And press both heels into the mat as you exhale, lowering the knees to the mat. Untuck the toes, sitting up nice and tall, and step that other leg in front. And we go into that lunge position. This time the arms are gonna wrap around, palms together, and you round that upper back, getting into a nice upper back stretch here. 3 deep inhales and exhales. Go ahead and place those hands on either side. Flex that front foot. Go ahead and square off those hips, lengthening the spine, bringing the rib cage to the thighs, engaging that core. Really stretch and feel that stretch behind the back of the knee into the hamstring. One more deep breath here. Bring that toe back to the mat, leaning forward again into that hip stretch. The arms come out, cross, bring the other arm over the top, palms together, and round in that back. You can get an extra stretch in the front of that hip if you squeeze the glute behind you. Continue with the deep inhale and exhale. Time, hands on either side. Sit back and the hips flex that toe. One more deep breath here. And lower the front foot, bending into that hip. Tuck the back toe, lift the back leg off the mat. Holding in the stretch here. Lengthening, reaching that back heel to the wall behind you and the top of your head to the computer screen in front of you. So you have that opposition. Inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and extend that front leg. If the knee gets straight, great. If it doesn't, that's okay, as long as you feel that stretch in the front hamstring. Fingertips on both sides, engaging the core. Think about reaching that front hip to the wall behind you. One more deep breath here. Good. Go ahead and bend that front knee. Drop that back knee to the mat. Untuck the toe. Bring the hands both to the inside. And then go ahead and flex that front foot and open that hip. Turning it out just a little bit. You feel it deeper into the hip and the glutes behind you. Making sure that foot is flexed so there's lots of energy in that foot will always protect the knee. And if you're up for it and this feels good, you can add a twist. Extending from palm to fingertips. And if you're up for it, you can reach that arm to the wall behind you, and it can come all the way around to your other side and wrap And go ahead and twist, looking, taking your gaze to the ceiling above you. You can feel a stretch in that outer hip and glute all the way to the shoulder, engaging the core. Reach that arm to the back wall, all the way up and back, and down to your mat. And go ahead and bring that foot all the way back behind you, up, finishing into another down dog. Shaking out your head and neck, pedaling out those heels. And let's go ahead and finish with one more stretch each side, lifting that right leg up into a single leg. Go ahead and bend that knee and let that leg just fall behind you. Let it open. You can add a little bounce. You can choose to flex the foot, energy in the foot, or you can point the toe, whatever feels good. Keeping your shoulders square to the mat and letting the hip open up. Little bounce into the hip and quad. Go ahead, extend that leg back up to single leg, bring it back to down dog. Right away in your next inhale, lifting the other leg up to the ceiling. Go ahead and bend that knee. And again, a nice little gentle bounce. You can either flex the foot, giving a little bit more energy to that quad in front of the hip, or you can choose to point the foot. Again, keeping those shoulders square, engaging the core. Lift the leg back up to single leg, back to down dog. Go ahead and walk those feet gently forward on the mat. Bend your knees and roll it up. Beautiful.